It's time to run it back for the Dallas Mavericks as they welcome the Phoenix Suns in the final game of their 5-game homestand. We'll get you ready for it here on the DLLS Mavs pregame show. Here we go. Hey, what's up, DLLS Mavs Nation? It's your man, Kevin Gray, alongside Mavericks analyst Bobby Carella. We are DLLS Mavs, your favorite guys covering your favorite team every single game night. You can find me on X at Kevin Gray Sports, at Bobby Carella. A little bit later on in our show, we'll be joined by our Mavericks beat writer, Tim Cato, live from the American Airlines Center. You can find him on X at Tim_Cato. It is game time, Charles, as the Mavericks take on the Phoenix Suns tonight. We run it back as the Mavericks look for revenge after they lost to them in their second game of the year. Kevin Durant and the Suns on a 6-game winning streak take on the Dallas Mavericks, playing in the final game of their 5-game homestand before they begin a 3-game road trip. Bobby Carella, what's going on this Friday night?
It is like pitch black outside. The last time the Mavs played the Suns, it started at 9:30 p.m. and for some reason it looks later right now than it did then.
But it probably was.
It's like 5 o'clock or something. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's 5:47 as of this moment, and it is actually really dark outside. Sun's starting to set a little earlier now, like 5:20, 5:25-ish. So
harbinger of things to come tonight, Phoenix.
The sun's setting early on Phoenix, maybe later on this evening by the time we get done. Game time at 6:30 p.m. You can watch that game on ESPN or on KFAA as well. You can also listen to it on 97.1 The Eagle. Mavericks, of course, 9th game of the season, 5-3 through their first 8 games, 4-2 at the AAC. Phoenix Suns 7-1. Have won their last 6 straight games. They're 2-1 away from home this year. Mavericks, surprisingly, a 3.5-point favorite tonight going into tonight's game against the Phoenix Suns, as we mentioned, who are red hot right now. Mavericks looking to win their 2nd straight game after, of course, getting the win on what was Wednesday over the Chicago Bulls, as Phoenix is on that 6-game winning streak. They swept their 3-game homestand with a win over the Miami Heat on Wednesday night, so they're playing extremely well. By the way, the Suns, after tonight, they play 5 of their next 6 games on the road. Beginning tonight, I should say, in Dallas. The Mavericks, of course, play the next 3 games on the road after tonight when they visit the Denver Nuggets, Golden State Warriors, and the Utah Jazz as the Mavericks finish up their 5-game homestand. 2-2 so far on this current one as they look to end it, Bobby, on what should be a high note tonight, hopefully against the Phoenix Suns, who are playing extremely well right now.
I hope so. It's going to be really tough. Phoenix is really, really good. The one thing, though, all right, I don't want to get too far down the rabbit hole yet, but they've only had one cozy win all season, and that was against the Mavs. And even that game was like kind of close. They ended up winning by 12. But all 6 of their other wins have been clutch games, and 1, 2, 3 have been decided by 1 shot, and a 4th one was decided by 1 point, and a 5th one was decided by 6 points. So, you know, they're 7-1, and deservedly so. They've been incredible in the 4th quarter this year after really struggling in the 4th quarter last year, when if they would have just been average in the 4th quarter, they probably would have been a top 4 seed in the West. But they weren't. This year, though, they are executing down the stretch. So, you know, the Mavs last season were a team that was great in the clutch. The Suns this season are a team that's great in the clutch. So if it's close down the stretch, hey, we could be in for some really, really awesome basketball.
During the 6-game winning streak for the Phoenix Suns, averaging 114 points per game, shooting 47% from the field and 37% from 3. 4th in the NBA in rebounding during this stretch, averaging over 47 rebounds per game, only committing 13 turnovers per contest, and a team that defensively is playing extremely well right now. 8th in the NBA over the last 6 games with a defensive rating of 109.2 as the rain pours down.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that rain?
Yeah, it is in our
our
DLLS Sports Studios.
Wow, the Suns stand no chance tonight. I know now why it's minus 3.5.
Because of the rain?
Good God. All right, so I do want to get out in front of this. I don't know if it's storming or not, but the other night, the Stars were doing, I think, a post-game show, and theirs cut out for like a minute So if we go black for a second, don't leave.
Don't leave.
Yeah.
Please stay, because
we will be back
until 6:15 on our pregame show. Mavericks number 4 in turnovers per game, only committing 12 turnovers per contest this year, 11th in the league in terms of rebounds per game at over 45 per contest, 15th in the NBA right now in offensive rating at 112.4. But Bobby will love this. Mavericks right now number 3 in the association in defensive rating at 107.2, tied for 10th right now currently in terms of pace as well. Mavericks overall 7th in net rating at a plus 5.2. It's been an up and down kind of start at times for this Mavericks team, but obviously only a small sample size. But to know it's a top 3 team in terms of defensive rating, hopefully that defensive mindset and mentality will show up tonight against a high-powered Phoenix Suns offense that's got 3 guys. Devin Booker is available as he has been dealing with an illness, so they will have Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant, who's been extremely hot. We'll get to his numbers here in a minute. But, Bobby, that defensive mindset has got to come up and show up tonight against the Suns at the AAC tonight for sure.
It better. You know, the Mavs have lost this season to – I should have just pulled up their schedule. Why am I the way I am? The Mavs have lost to the Suns. The Mavs have lost to the Rockets. The Mavs have lost to the Pacers. Those are 3 teams that I suspect will be in at least the top 10 in their conference. Houston, maybe not. We'll see about them, but they've got off to a really good start. And then the Mavs beat the Wolves. The Wolves are a really good team too. In those 4 games, their defensive rating is far from top 5 caliber in the league. Their defensive rating is like bottom 5 caliber in the league against the 4 best teams they've played, or the 4 best offenses they've played at least. So, you know, against the teams that are not very good, the Spurs, the Jazz, the Bulls, the Magic, whenever they were already missing Paolo, then later missed Wendell Carter, they destroyed those guys. They were like number 1 defense, like a record-setting caliber defensive rating.
Yeah.
Against the good teams, they've been pretty below average. You know, and tonight you're missing PJ, you're missing Lively again, you're still missing Maxi. Those are 3 of your top 4 or 5 best defenders. And if I am choosing, if we're doing a fantasy draft of Mavs that we want to guard Kevin Durant one-on-one, those are probably the first 3 picks.
Probably.
At least 3 of the top 4 with
Yeah.
Najee Marshall in there. Well, Najee's the only guy out there tonight. So it's going to be really, really hard for the Mavs to corral KD. And I was actually talking with some of the diehards in the Discord earlier today, and one of them, I forget who, my bad, but one of them suggested maybe the Mavs should just let KD cook whoever is guarding him and really try and limit the other guys. You know, and maybe that's the way to go.
That's a strategy.
Because the last time the Mavs played the Suns, they didn't have Beal, and the Suns still rang up 114 on him, and
That's right.
That game was pretty hopeless for most of it. Yusuf Nurkic got going.
I'm about to say, because
sake.
Nurkic got going in the middle and was cooking Maxi, but Maxi's not available, so maybe that's a good.
Now
mind.
it is a little different. It's a little different too. So Beal's playing tonight for Phoenix. Ryan Dunn is not playing. He's probably their best perimeter defender, off to a great start in his rookie year. But Grayson Allen is coming back, and Grayson Allen is a great shooter. Ryan Dunn did shoot the ball well against the Mavs, which
and Grayson Allen
really
likes
annoying,
to shoot the ball well against the Mavericks for some reason.
Yeah, and so you know that's another layer of difficulty you're going to encounter if you do start putting too much pressure on any of these 3 stars. You know, so I think you might have to just stay home on everyone and just say, "Hey, KD, beat us one-on-one, and please don't go for 75."
And I see you, Elliot. I see you, Felipe. Luka looking for revenge after KD called him too small in the game, of course, where Luka actually had 40 in that game against Phoenix, but it felt like it didn't feel like a typical Luka 40 because of the way that the offense felt a little just off kilter at times, with Luka even going for off the big number that he had against Phoenix.
Gummed up offense. Now, that was game number 2 of the season. But Kyrie, 9 of 22. He's better than that. Klay Thompson, 7 of 16, 5 threes. That's pretty good. Do that again. PJ, 2 for 10. Gafford, 3 for 7. Najee, 1 for 5. That was a game where afterward we were talking on the postgame show, like, is this team actually deep? Because their bench scored 9 points. Their bench is – it's going to be tough for their bench to produce more than 9 points tonight. I'm not going to lie. Again, you're missing PJ. You're missing Lively. Najee elevated to the starting lineup. So unless Jaden Hardy or Quentin Grimes or Dinwiddie come in and just get real hot, it's going to have to be the starters carrying the load tonight. And that's honestly probably the case for Phoenix too.
Sure. A lot of superstar talent tonight on the floor. We'll focus in on what the Suns are bringing as the Mavericks opponent tonight, particularly the ageless one Kevin Durant. He has been special in the last 6 games during this winning streak for Phoenix, averaging nearly 28 points per game, shooting 55% from the field and nearly 41% from downtown, as the Suns as a team in their last 5 clutch games, Bobby detailing some of that a little bit ago. Clutch games, of course, ahead or behind by 5 or less points. 5-0 in their last 5 such games, 5th in offensive rating. But the number that stands out to me, number 2 in defensive rating in the last 5 clutch games, going 5-0 at 82.1.
Woo.
So Mike Budenholzer, of course, a defensive-minded head coach, bringing that to this team. They're executing defensively, especially when it matters most in the fourth quarter. That's, as you mentioned, a little bit of a new wrinkle for them. Weren't great in clutch time and in the fourth quarters last year. So far, especially on the defensive end, really being up to the test when it comes to those crucial moments down the stretching games.
Kevin Durant is a really good defender.
He has, exactly. I'm glad you said it
at
out
this
loud.
age,
Yes,
and
yes.
so Phoenix will sometimes go KD at the 5, and sometimes they'll leave Nurkic out there, but you can pretty credibly play KD at the 5 or Royce O'Neal at the 5, whatever. Like, the Suns can defend late in games. Now, again, without Dunn, like if your lineup is like Booker, KD, Beal, Dunn, O'Neal, or one of the big threes out, then you have like Grayson Allen in there or whatever, then you can defend pretty well. Tyus Jones too, kind of an annoying defender sometimes. But it's a lot easier. I always say this is a lot easier to defend whenever you're scoring.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my scouting report for tonight. KD in the clutch this season. 10 of 11 on twos in the clutch. And they've played 28 clutch minutes. Let me pull up my my Twitter timeline for this one. I want to make sure I get these numbers correct. 27 clutch minutes, and the Suns are plus 28 in his 27 clutch minutes.
Wow.
So they're outscoring opponents by 1 point a minute. And again, they're 6-0 in the clutch. They've already won 3 games this season by 3 points or less, another one by 4, and another one by 6. They came back to beat the Clippers in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
They've held off teams, but they've come back and surged and taken leads. They're winning games that the way that the Mavs won a lot of games last season, where you look up at the end of the game and you're like, how the hell did we lose that game? Oh, because Kevin Durant made like
Yes.
8 shots in a row
Mm-hmm.
down the stretch. So KD, 10 of 11 on twos, 9 of 9 from the free throw line. Booker, incredible free throw shooter. Bradley Beal is 2 for 2 on threes in the clutch, and he's a great free throw shooter. So if you're trailing these guys late in the game, good luck beating them, because they got 3 guys that can cook one-on-one. All of them can shoot threes. All of them are 3-level scorers. They can all put the ball on the floor, draw fouls, go to the free throw line, and score there too. And they have Royce O'Neal to shoot threes, Grayson Allen to shoot threes, Tyus Jones to kind of set everybody up, Nurkic to get rebounds, whatever. We're hearing a lot of weird sounds right now here at the DLLS studios, but I'm going to trust Tanner that you got it all under control. But that's the thing. That's the thing. And the Mavs have, in my memory, not come back to win a game late. They were protecting a lead against the Wolves down the stretch in that game. They've blown out a few teams that are worse than them, but they haven't been able to overcome a deficit late in a game this season because, like against the Pacers, they couldn't get a stop.
Yeah.
So for as good as Phoenix has been defensively in the clutch, they have been even better offensively, and the Mavs have really struggled in the clutch so far in limited minutes, but still they've been struggling to get stops whenever they really, really need them. And so I don't want them to be in that position again tonight.
And, of course, our superstar on our side for the Dallas Mavericks, Luka Doncic, averaging 29.4 points per game, shooting over 47% from the field, averaging 8 rebounds and nearly 7 assists in 26 career games against the Phoenix Suns. A lot of superstars on the floor tonight. Of course, this game on ESPN, of course, on KFAA as well. Should be a fun one, thanks to the NBA scheduling guys for putting this one at 6:30, so we'll be able to see this one early tonight between the Mavericks and the Phoenix Suns.
Can I say something real quick? So Anna makes a good point in the chat by saying you can't compare the Mavs defensive rating in their tough games against every team in all of their games. And that's true, and that's a really good point. So I appreciate you mentioning that. But the only reason that I use that as kind of a frame of reference of, against the bad teams, they've been incredible, and against the good teams, they've struggled. Phoenix is a good team. So, if the Mavs are going to defend at a 115 points per 100 possessions level against really good teams, like that's not good whenever you're going up against them. And their next few games, Phoenix, they play Denver, they got OKC, Golden State coming up soon. Like they're playing all these really good teams coming up. And so as this defense is trying to kind of round into shape, they got to pick it up. And again, the bummer is no PJ, no Lively. It's unclear when those guys will come back.
Yeah.
Jake had said, ask me tomorrow about whether those guys will even go on the road trip.
Yikes.
So
man.
they got to kick it. They got to figure it out quick, because I don't want to feel uncomfortable at this time next week.
We will find out as the rest of the weekend goes on. More coming up here on the DLLS Mavs pregame show. Our final thoughts on how we think this game will go, who's in, who's out, and some X factors to look for in tonight's game. But before we get there, let's talk to you about becoming a diehard member here at DLLS Sports. Let's throw up Elliot's comment in the chat.
Let's go, Elliot.
As he says he's got his free DLLS shirt. It's super comfy and good quality.
Yesterday.
Nice work, guys. Of course, Tanner's got his shirt on as well. Bobby had his on. I'm getting mine in very soon as well. Make sure
I got another one.
You got another one?
I got another one.
What was the other one you got?
The other one is the black DLLS with the skyline.
Okay, so you got the
that one.
Skyline shirt. So make sure you go to alldlls.com/diehard. Become a diehard member today for just $7 a month. $7 a month. You become a diehard member here at DLLS Sports. Member only Discord, as Bobby was mentioning earlier. We've got premium content on our website as well. 20% off events, pre-game shows, post-game shows. You can come hang out with us as well when it comes to our events as well. So many benefits, or as Bobby would like to say, bennies when it comes to me coming.
I'm not the only one that uses that word, Kevin.
You're literally the only person I've ever heard say that word ever
I don't know.
in terms of bennies. Would you like to tell them more about the bennies that they could get with being a diehard
well,
member?
let me know in the chat if you've ever used the word Benny or heard someone else say it before. But yeah, you get to join the Discord. You get to read the whole website, discount on merch, discount on live events. You just become a much cooler, more enlightened person. I don't really know how to, like, some of these things you just can't really like say. You just have to experience, right? You know, you just have to feel it for yourself. So if you want your life to change, alldls.com/diehard.
Become a diehard member today and join our DLLS Sports family. Get shout out that physical diehard card as well. Tag us on social media and we'll shout you out as well. Let's get to the American Airlines Center and welcome in our Mavericks beat writer. You can find him on X at Tim_Cato. He is our favorite Tim here at DLLS Sports. He is Tim Cato. Tim, what's going on?
I don't even know if I believe that anymore.
Well, I said it, so you should believe it. That's all I got to say about that. Who's
That's
in
true.
and who's out tonight? Looks like for the Suns, Ryan Dunn, he is out with a left ankle sprain. Bradley Beal is active. He's been dealing with a right elbow sprain. Devin Booker is available and good to go. He has been dealing with an illness for the Suns, but he will be available to play for the Mavericks. Dante Exum remains out. Maxi Kleber will miss his 7th straight game with the right hamstring strain. Dereck Lively II also out as well with his right shoulder sprain. He misses his 3rd straight game. And PJ Washington Jr., he is out tonight with a knee injury. He will miss his 2nd straight game.
Tim, why are all their players healthy and none of the Mavs are healthy?
I don't think there's like a reason for this.
What do we
Like,
send?
what do you mean? Why?
What's the deal? So
Are you
okay.
are you
To look
saying
good and
that,
give us
that
pregame reports.
sports should have fairness?
What do you know about Lively and PJ? Like, are we concerned, or is this just like a precautionary thing?
I don't have any evidence to be concerned yet. You know, when I, in a conversation I was just having with somebody, I mean, they said they weren't concerned about the injuries, but I don't know what concern means in terms of, are we talking, is it going to take another 3 or 4 games until they're back out there? Is it going to be, 4 games would be after this upcoming road trip? That's certainly not ideal. I'm not reading too much into Jason Kidd saying that, asked him tomorrow about whether they're going to travel on the trip. Jason Kidd can be a little bit coy sometimes about stuff like this. We know that. But yeah, they're not. It's not like they were almost ready to go tonight and just held out precautionarily. It doesn't seem like.
And, of course, our guy Mark Stein letting us know during the postgame show on Wednesday night that it was going to be pretty much unlikely that Lively and Washington play in tonight's game. And, of course, the Mavericks confirming that before tonight's game against the Phoenix Suns. Of course, the Mavericks going to be starting a 3-game road trip when they take on the Denver Nuggets starting on Sunday. We got to stop spreading bad news. I mean, we're spreading factual news, No.
If I don't like the news, then we just shouldn't share it.
You said something a lot deeper there that I don't think folks caught, but we'll go to our X Factors here on the pregame show as we talk a little Mavericks X Factors. Let's start with this one, and I want to get you guys' thoughts on this one. How did the Mavericks overcome the losses? We spoke of the injuries between Dereck Lively II and PJ Washington. How did the Mavericks overcome those losses tonight as they take on the Phoenix Suns, gentlemen?
I mean, it's more Najee time, Tim, right? Like, he's how many people can he guard at once, do you think? Although Klay did do a good job on Devin Booker, to be fair. Like, he did a really good job the last time they played. So if he can keep doing that, then maybe Najee can make KD work for it. But I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of starts there. I think that's fair. And, this is a better matchup for Daniel Gafford than, say, Indiana, unless Nurkic really is turning into the, is he Croatian? He's not Serbian, right?
He's Bosnian.
He's definitely not Serbian. Bosnian, thank you. Maybe he's turning into Bosnian Kristaps Porzingis. It does seem like things are trending that way, but I think this is a better matchup. There's this is not something where you have to resort to uber small ball, and you can keep a center out there, and you just got to throw out all the depth, and you got to make the lineups work. I mean, it has to be more of a, the lineups aren't going to look perfect. It's not going to be like this is exactly the archetype of the player we want at the 4 and the 5, and it has to be that Luka, that the 1 and the 2, that Luka and Kyrie and to an extent Klay are out talenting Phoenix, which is very possible. Honestly, Phoenix won a lot of games that way last season. They didn't have a lot of pieces that fit perfectly, but they had a lot of talent. And yeah, without PJ, no, this doesn't fit perfectly. Without Dereck Lively, yes, the team loses a lot of their advantages. That doesn't mean that at any given game they can't just go win, because this is a very good team that is able to play within itself and, play to peaks that are able to win games.
One other thing that cannot stay the same as last time. Now, it was a healthier team. Quentin Grimes played 6 minutes last game against Phoenix. That cannot be the case tonight. That just cannot happen.
I mean, just from sheer depth purposes, they're going to need more Grimes minutes.
Yeah.
Like they need bodies to be available tonight, and Grimes can give them. I see you, Mark W, in the chat as well. Shout out to you on our DLLS Sports family here. X Factor number 2, gentlemen. Can the Mavericks contain Devin Booker again? I know the last time that these two teams got together, Devin Booker went 11 and 12 from the free throw line, but overall from the field was 4 of 12 in that game. Obviously, we know what Durant has been doing over the last 6 games during the 6-game win streak. Bradley Beal, we know he can do from the 3-point line. But how do the Mavericks contain Devin Booker once again to try and make sure that he's not getting to the line nearly as much as he did in the first time around that they played each other?
Let Yusuf Nurkic post up 20 times again? Like, honestly, I mean, I would rather him hook shot the Mavs to death than have Devin Booker take 25 shots. Like, I don't want him. I don't want the ball in Booker's hands at all costs. He's way too good, way too dynamic. He can get really, really hot really, really quick, and he loves beating the Mavs in this building.
Yeah.
He loves it. Now, he was questionable with the illness. Who knows how he's going to be feeling? Maybe he'll be a little sluggish out there. I don't know if Jesse Holly shared his Taco Bell with Book earlier today or something, but
he looked pretty good. I was watching him in pregame, and he looked like the Devin Booker that you're used to seeing.
More
honestly,
bad
it's
news,
so
Tim.
he was doing like high point no dip jumpers, but not just catching at face level, like catching over his head and then just immediately launching them. That's still one thing that's one of the most impressive things an NBA player can do. That's more impressive than a windmill dunk.
This is a Mavs pregame show, Tim. Relax. Thanks.
Yeah, stop.
I thought do we enjoy basketball on this podcast?
No.
We enjoy Mavericks basketball.
Phoenix is a red team. They're a red team.
Yeah, you was on the show. We
yesterday.
literally put them in the red.
I mean, yeah, but they won the Senate race.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Moving on. I don't even know where I was supposed to take it after that, but at the same time, I'll find a way. Klay Thompson did a decent job on Devin Booker in the first matchup. Hopefully for Klay at 34 years of age, I will continue to do the same again tonight on Devin Booker, which kind of gets me to the last X Factor, which I think is going to be interesting tonight. Again, this game on national television with the Suns and the Mavericks, a lot of star power. Mavs Big Three versus the Suns Big Three, obviously with Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, and Klay Thompson versus the Big Three that includes Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal. Which superstar trio will win the day? We look at some of the numbers we mentioned a little bit earlier. Bradley Beal averaging 15.5 points per game so far this year, nearly 2 steals per contest. Devin Booker averaging 24.4 points per game, but shooting just 43% so far this year is Mr. Booker for the Suns. So as we look at it, Tim, which superstar trio for you has the advantage going into tonight's game?
What type of question is that? I thought this is a Mavs show. I'm not even allowed to talk about the other superstar trio.
He learns fast.
He does that.
Good job.
See? You
Good
passed
job.
the test. Good job.
The one superstar trio that I'm allowed to talk about obviously has an advantage over no other superstar trios because they don't even exist.
That's right. You learn fast. Good job. You passed the test. Do you pass the test?
If Luka can get the ball moving the way it has the last couple games, and if his 3-point shot can fall a little bit, and if they can I mean, without Dunn, I think he's going to have a little bit of an easier time scoring. Now, he had no problem scoring the last time they played Phoenix. It was Kyrie that really struggled. It was 9 of 22, pretty off night for him. But, I mean, we've seen Luka and Kyrie absolutely decimate the Suns a couple times. We've also seen the Suns absolutely decimate Luka and Kyrie a couple times. It really just comes down to, like, who gets off to a better start. It feels like the last few times these teams have played, one of them has led by 15 in the first quarter, And so if the Mavs can come out hot, they'll have a chance. That's such a generic thing to say. I'm sorry.
I mean, but that's just one of the things we've been talking about, right?
All of your best defenders are out. All of your players that you have that are starting caliber players are offensive minded. Like, score the ball.
Yeah.
Score. Shots.
Bobby,
I
think you understand.
Shot. Never mind.
We're the type of people that watch like a pregame show or a halftime show on national television broadcast, and we're like, this is such superficial analysis. Like, come on now, let's get a smarter flavor of analysis of discourse in here. And then all of a sudden, we're asked to do the same show, and it's like, no. Sometimes it really just does come down to, all right, is Team A or Team B going to start with more shots going through the basket? Sometimes it really is that simple. This is the thing.
Like the super high level analysis is all of the Mavs defenders are hurt. So
they are, yes.
You have to win this game 130 to 128. Like, that's
man, it's gonna be another race to 130 again.
You're not gonna win 106 to 101 like this. Now the Mavs probably will win 106, but like that's not gonna happen. The Mavs have to shoot 40% from three. They have to get to the free throw line 30 times. Luka has to make 5 floaters. Like, they have to get really hot.
He might need more than 40 points. Honestly, probably will. Like, 40 points didn't do it in the last game. There's a good chance that if this is the exact same Phoenix Suns team playing the exact same way, that Luka needs to have 40 points in the third quarter, force the Suns to adjust, and then the role players and everybody else on the team kind of takes it from there. Like, that's a very real way that this game could play out.
Which means other guys
if Dallas is to win.
Yeah, other guys are going to have to come with him because Luka had 40 of the 102 in the loss in the second game of the season. So he's going to have a big game, but other guys are going to have to come with it. And it's funny you mentioned the race to 130. We had that same kind of scenario when the Mavericks played against the Indiana Pacers, and we had said, hey, the race to 130, whoever gets there first is probably going to win the game. And the Pacers were able to close in what was a 14-4 run to get to that 130 mark before the Mavericks were able to do it. If you're in a track meet tonight, the Suns are a lot healthier than you are. I would hope the Mavericks maybe try to slow things down a little bit to try and get as many possessions as they can to keep the ball out of the hands of Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal. But if you're trying to race to 130, that could be a lot of offense tonight.
You have to score. I mean, it doesn't matter the pace, it doesn't matter the tempo, it doesn't matter the Mavs could be down 12, they still have a chance. They could be up 12, the Suns still have a chance with 2 minutes left. Yeah. This is going to be Mavs Pacers part 2. The question is, can the Mavs prevent the Suns from trading for Miles Turner at halftime or something? Like, yeah, can you just basically, like, if KD, Booker, and Bradley Beal combine for 90, I think the Mavs will win. If KD, Beal, and Booker combine for 60, but Yusuf Nurkic gets hot and Grayson Allen hits 5 threes, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, we have let every single player on their team feel really good about themselves, then it's going to be really tough.
Tim, final thoughts before we let you go before tonight's game?
I liked that point, Bobby. That was better than a generic pregame show on a national broadcast.
Thanks.
Because it was counterintuitive, but it makes a lot of sense. I'm with you.
Yeah, because if Beal, Booker, and Durant go off for 90, that doesn't spell a lot of good chances for this team to win. But I mean, I see what you're going for, though.
Yeah, it means they're staying home.
Yeah,
it means that those guys are having to work in isolation. It means that probably it's not a back and forth game.
Yeah,
like that feels like it plays more to the Mavs. Like if KD goes for 50, that's fine. I cannot let Grayson Allen get hot. I cannot let Yusuf Nurkic destroy me again. I cannot, let the big 3 guys go one-on-one. Stay home. Don't compromise yourself. Don't leave Grayson Allen open like they did all Christmas night last year, ruining my Christmas. But Luka saved the day.
They won on Christmas, yeah.
I know. Thanks to based Luka. But just don't let Tyus Jones piss me off.
Bobby's already getting angry.
No, I'm not.
I'll make Tim angry before we go with this generic analysis. Hey, Tim, it's a make or miss league. There you go.
So true.
No, I agree. It is. I'm not a smart person anymore. I'm just it seems like it's more fun to be dumb. So I'm just embracing it.
Bye, Tim.
They should bring back fights.
We'll talk to Tim on our postgame show here on the DLLS Mavs
Bye, Tim.
postgame show. Bye, Tim. That'll do it for us here on the DLLS Mavs pregame show. It's basketball time at the AAC. Mavericks hosting the Phoenix Suns. Mavericks looking to end their 5-game homestand on a high note by getting some revenge on the boys from the Valley of the Sun. We'll be back here 15 minutes after the final buzzer here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. Mark Stein, Tim Cato live from the American Airlines Center with myself and Bobby Carello. Appreciate y'all joining us here on the DLLS Mavs pregame show. We'll talk to you after the game. Y'all be good. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.